But what does he focus on? I'll tell you what he's focused on. Shower heads.
You wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I have to stand in the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it comes out drip, drip, drip. I believe that's how Stormy described it too, right?
People, hold on to your hats because Jimmy Kimmel just attacked Karoline Leavitt and her boss, Donald Trump, with full force. Kimmel completely destroyed their entire circus of a government in what can only be called an epic roast, from Trump's trademark mayhem to Karoline's frantic defense of the undefended. Kimmel is targeting both of them. I promise you will want to see this. It's like seeing a car wreck in slow motion.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies, they get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics.
Trump's all over the place. Look at China. Over the past 48 hours, the tariffs he put on China have gone from 20% to 104% to now he says at least 145%. He's calling out numbers like he's working a bingo hopper or something. There's no plan.
When Jimmy Kimmel launched his vicious attack on Karoline Leavitt and the Trump administration, he wasn't holding back. It was the kind of roast you didn't realize you wanted, but once it got going, you couldn't turn away. Let's be clear. Kimmel gave Karoline Leavitt, who has since managed to emerge from the depths of Trump's sea of sycophants, a classic verbal thrashing that was as refreshing as a refreshing drink on a sweltering summer day.
It's about time we have a president in the Oval Office who is putting the world on notice. The phones have been ringing off the hook, wanting to talk to this administration, this president and his trade team to try to strike a deal. And it's because the world knows that they need the United States of America. They need our markets, they need our consumer. The president has a lot of leverage on his side because he has the best economy and the best country in the world that he leads, and he knows that. And it's about dang time we finally have a president who uses that economic leverage to benefit American workers.
It's like watching someone attempt to navigate a maze while blindfolded and with their hands tied behind their back. You know it's only a matter of time until they crash into a wall, but at least they appear confident, right? Karoline, bless her misguided heart, seems to believe that the secret to success in politics is simply repeating whatever nonsense Trump spits out. Karoline's approach is to simply hurl as much strange jargon as she can at the wall and hope that anything will stick. It's similar to hurling spaghetti at the ceiling, only that this time the ceiling is composed of truth, and it just is not here.
There's no plan, unless you consult the MAGAverse, in which case there is and was definitely a plan.
I think he's had a plan all along, David, and I think we're seeing it play out.
This was his strategy all along.
This was the plan all along.
Was that his plan all along? It certainly looks like it.
This is the plan that he was pursuing all along.
I mean, you're watching the art of the deal in real time here.
Well, if that was the plan, congratulations, because in 1 week the plan lost $6 trillion and every country in the world hates us now.
Naturally, Kimmel did not mince words when he pointed out that Karoline isn't bringing anything new to the table. Rather, she is merely another cog in the Trump propaganda machine, delivering the same old talking points that we have all heard countless times. It's almost as though she is auditioning for the position of Trump's personal parrot, but instead of squawking out random phrases like a bewildered bird, Karoline has been appointed the crucial position of rapid response director for the Trump campaign. Let's face it, if you needed someone to sidestep the truth like a missile is about to strike, Karoline is your girl. She is an expert at avoiding the truth, and as we've seen, avoiding responsibility is essentially her full-time job.
Our headquarters in Hollywood, where a lot of the country watched a very special episode of The White POTUS tonight. It was a night of pomposity and circumstance as Donald Trump addressed a joint session of Congress because, he rarely gets to be on TV, so why not?
Here's the thing, if you're enjoying it, please subscribe. Karoline is the kind of person who would stand in front of a fire and insist that it isn't hot before attempting to persuade everyone nearby to touch it. She would do this while grinning as though she had discovered the solution to common sense. In exchange for her ceaseless efforts to repeat the most ludicrous of Trump's assertions, Why does she receive a lucrative position as the person entrusted with turning everything that Trump does into something even slightly acceptable to the general public?
The jig is up. Past American presidents sat by and let this happen, but President Trump stood up for our country, and he is saying no more. The president's message has been simple and consistent from the beginning. To countries around the world, bring us your best offers, and he will listen. Deals will only be made if they benefit American workers and address our nation's crippling trade deficits.
Indeed, this is precisely what we require during a crisis. Someone who is as good at avoiding facts as they are at deceiving the American people, but don't be fooled by that. Karoline's rise through the political ranks isn't about intelligence or competence. Rather, it's about loyalty. The kind of loyalty that demands you follow the leader no matter how ridiculous or harmful his words and actions might be. As a result, Karoline has made a career out of being the Trump administration's devoted foot soldier, more interested in caving into his every whim than providing any insightful commentary. It's like being picked last in dodgeball, only this time the dodgeball is the truth, and Karoline gets hit every time. The only thing she's ever managed to avoid is reality.
Can you tell us that my heap is not one of those affected?
So you're asking a hypothetical based on programs that you can't even identify. What I can tell you is that
since you guys haven't identified, let's do it together just for Americans at home. Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits, food stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause.
Let's not overlook Donald Trump, the show's real star, who managed to persuade a whole nation that his inexperience, along with his never-ending run of unsuccessful ventures and self-serving choices, were actually advantageous. Kimmel went into great detail about Trump's leadership, which I define as his capacity to bluster and tweet his way out of every serious crisis. Trump's political acumen is truly amazing. If you need evidence that the bar can drop, just look at the man who was impeached twice and yet managed to come out on top with a fan club that acts like a bunch of people who still think the earth is flat.
Maybe he wants to make sure we know it's a scheduled thing and not an emergency. Either way, I bet it's going to be an excellent report. Let me guess. His physical strength and stamina are extraordinary, his blood pressure is astonishing, and he is by far the healthiest president to have single-handedly tanked the world economy overnight.
Kimmel targeted Trump where it hurts the most, his notorious, ego-driven obsession with winning. Of course, his definition of winning has nothing to do with actually helping his country or resolving a national crisis. Rather, Trump's victories are determined by the number of people who attend his rallies or the frequency with which his name trended on Twitter. It seems as though his entire life is a contest to see who can be the most outrageous, and somehow he keeps winning.
None of us can ever go on vacation again thanks to the plan. That's some plan. Let's be honest, even Donald Trump, not only doesn't he have a plan, he doesn't understand why he did this. Maybe he did it to distract us from all the other horrible stuff. Maybe he did it to distract us from the fact that they're deporting college students and firing the people in charge of fighting disease and fires, and he's attacking judges and journalists and lawyers. He's taking lunch and life-saving medications away from children who need it, not to mention helping his buddy Putin crush Ukraine and menacing Canada and Greenland of all places.
Kimmel didn't hold back from highlighting the utter ridiculousness of Trump's behavior. The man can't seem to accept accountability for anything in his life. The economy collapsed during his tenure, which wasn't his fault. The epidemic escalated out of control, and Kimmel had a great time making fun of Trump's constant attempts to shift the responsibility to someone who wasn't him in that one. It's like watching a youngster point at a shattered vase and declare, "I didn't do it," while brandishing a hammer.
This morning, hit the snooze button on almost all those big, beautiful tariffs he levied. He paused the tariffs for 90 days, which puts us at right around the 4th of July to blow things up again. 90 days of turmoil now, but the world of finance was relieved, to say the least. The market shot way up today. The S&P had its biggest day since 2008. Wall Street was up 12%. Think about that. The best thing Trump has ever done for America was undo the incredibly dumb thing he did.
However, there is more to Trump's fixation with his stunning wall that never quite came to pass. Yes, The wall is a stunning representation of the Trumpian style of leadership, which consists of a number of hollow promises encased in glittering words. Kimmel took a moment to remind everyone that this wall, this big project, was meant to fix everything, secure the border, combat illegal immigration, and restore America's greatness. But here's the really bad part. The wall became a running joke because Trump didn't even build it, and it also demonstrated his total incapacity to keep his word. Kimmel virtually burst out laughing as he pointed out that at this time, Trump had only managed to create a massive ego, and even those questionable.
This man has the Diet Coke button-pressing strength of a man half his age. Remember his first public physical, the first results? And remember this guy, his doctor, Harold Bornstein, who said Trump would be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency? You know where that guy is now? He's dead. He's dead. He died 4 years ago. Nobody knows why. The doctor who told us Trump was in perfect health is dead. So I guess Trump will use somebody else for this one. I will say, after all he's put us through, it will be nice to know that on Friday, somebody will be squeezing his balls for a change.
Additionally, Trump's entire response to the outbreak was a complete circus. A man who promoted untested medicines and got involved in Twitter arguments instead of paying attention to experts Kimmel's criticism of Trump's total contempt for science in favor of vanity and self-promotion was incisive and accurate. The person who believed it could be a good idea to inject yourself with bleach, yes, that is the same one that oversaw the nation.
Trump has managed to transform the stock market into Kanye West. But the good news is the president wants us to know he's doing just fine. He wrote, "I am pleased to report that my long-scheduled annual physical examination will be done at Walter Reed Army Medical Center on Friday of this week. I have never felt better." It's funny because the rest of us have never felt worse.
The way Trump and Karoline Leavitt treated facts as though they were optional, however, was perhaps the most telling thing Kimmel brought up. It's almost like watching someone play a game where the rules are entirely made up as they go along. Truth, nah. Who needs that when you can just scream louder and tweet more? This, my friends, is the foundation of the Trump administration. It wasn't about leadership, but rather about creating an alternate reality where facts were secondary and personal interests were paramount.
To the woman in the purple, because I saw you were making a face at my previous answer, so what's going on?
Let's now discuss the ridiculousness of Trump's political team. Despite being fresh to the Trump cheerleading team, Karoline Leavitt is already establishing herself as a shining example of what occurs when ambition and a profound lack of self-awareness are combined. Kimmel attacked her, pointing out that her quick ascent was predicated more on her readiness to comply with Trump's demands than on her skill, pointing out that her response to criticism is essentially a rerun of Trump's own strategy. Her position as a rapid response director would be absurd if it weren't so tragic. Divert, deny, and intensify. Kimmel had the ideal response. Karoline would be a tax write-off if she were any more in line with Trump.
Can you tell us that the lie heap is not one of those affected?
So you're asking a hypothetical based on programs that you can't even identify. What I can tell you is that
since you guys haven't identified, let's do it together just for Americans at home. Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits, food stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause.
And let's not forget about her strange allegiance to Trump's policies. Kimmel attacked her for defending the indefensible, saying that it was like watching someone praise a sinking boat. Yes, it's sinking, but look at those fancy seats. The more Kimmel attacked them, the more it became obvious that the real joke was the entire Trump machine. The entire administration was like a clown car. Every time you thought they were finished, another ridiculous figure appeared, saying something even more ridiculous than the one before. But beneath all the laughter and jabs, there was a serious undertone about the real danger of a political system that prioritizes ego and incompetence over competence and accountability.
For the audience, did anyone else get a group chat invite from the National Security Advisor today? Just me? I know we shouldn't enjoy the fact that we have a confederacy of dunces running this country, but I'll be honest, I can't help it. I'm enjoying it right now. This week in the race between dumb and...
Kimmel's takedown wasn't just a comedic routine. It served as a reminder of the absurdity of Trump's rule and the people who support him. If Kimmel made one thing very clear, it was that we shouldn't just laugh at these people. We should also be cautious of the harm they could cause if we allow them to continue on this path. After all, a nation that elects people who would rather make jokes than solve problems is one that is setting itself up for failure. Therefore, as Karoline Leavitt and Donald Trump continue their charade, it is up to individuals like Jimmy Kimmel to hold a mirror up to their egos and demonstrate to the world just how absurd their entire act is. It's like an endless circus with louder and louder clowns, but Kimmel's witty repartee and keen sense of hypocrisy ensured that everyone understood the memo. It's time to laugh at them before they spoil the entire show, because this isn't just a joke. It's a warning about a system that prioritizes show over content and how that kind of leadership can only go us so far.
Our job, I guess, is to sit back and watch him take credit for solving the financial crisis he created. The Dow is still down more than 1,600 points from where it was when he started this unnecessary mess. And if you're a small business owner who's worried about having to close up shop because of unpredictable costs, President Trump would like you to know he won a golf tournament this weekend. So before he backed down, Uncle Scam offered words of reassurance to the millions of Americans whose retirement funds he exploded. He wrote, "Be cool. Everything's going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. Be cool, everybody. Be cool, like Fonzie. Be as cool as a cucumber that will soon cost $9 a piece." And that...
Ultimately, Kimmel's roast exposes that despite all of their loudness and bravado, Trump and his administration have left behind nothing but disorder, where the only thing that matters is who can yell the loudest, as if volume could conceal ineptitude. It's obvious that this isn't about making America great. Rather, it's about upholding a narrative that suits their egos at any cost to the nation. Karoline Leavitt and the rest of Trump's pathetic supporters can continue to try to spin this broken record by claiming that using sound bites will divert attention from the blatant insanity of their policies.
President Zambone had posted about our friends up north. They will pay a financial price for this so big it will be read about in history books for many years to come. The only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state. This would make all tariffs and everything else totally disappear.
Leavitt, like the other members of the Trump team, keeps saying the same stale, uninspired things. It seems as though she and others believe that by saying the same thing over and over again, we will somehow be persuaded to believe it. The sad truth is that the nation has been there, done that, and we all have the t-shirt to prove it. The more they attempt to distort the truth, the more they reveal their lack of substance, because, in the end, the noise they make is only a diversion from their complete failure to deliver anything of genuine value. The joke is on them, and we're all aware of it. The truth is too loud to ignore, and no amount of shouting will ever be able to drown it out. We have seen the show, and it is one we no longer want to watch.